Hey there guys, welcome back. It's your boy Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineups for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And before I go any further guys, I would appreciate a like on the video, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on your notifications. This way you do not miss any of my new uploads, and I upload daily. With that being said, today is March 26, 2018. We have a 5-game slate. I'm going to go over my stud 5 of the day for you guys. Evaluated some of the players. I'm going to go right to it. Point guard. I like today Mr. Lonzo Ball, 8,300. Lonzo Ball is facing the Detroit Pistons in Detroit. The Pistons are considered 24th overall in the league, defending the point guard, 25th in fantasy points, 21st in fantasy points per minute. They're 28th in rebounding, and which is near the bottom of the league, and they're 23rd in giving up and allowing 3-pointers. And Ball, statistically, he's had 1, 2, 3. He's had 5 out of his last 6 games. He has at least met value or slightly above value. And versus Detroit, he did play 1 game against Detroit, which was back in October 31st, which was a while ago. He played 27 minutes. He put up a 30 spot, which is a little bit above value. He did meet value. He has 6 out of 13 shots, so it wasn't, he probably close to about 50%. I expect him to be even more involved now, especially that he is getting more minutes and he's actually the starting point guard. Detroit definitely struggles there against the point. And I just personally feel Lonzo is in a good spot here today. I think he's going to be very dominant. I would go with definitely Lonzo Ball today. As shooting guard, I like today Mr. Barton. Will Barton against the Philadelphia 76ers. Mr. Barton in Philadelphia, he has had pretty good performances. I mean, Barton as of late, for first things first, Philadelphia is ranked 25th in the league against point guards in fantasy points, 22nd in fantasy points per minute, 25th in rebounds, 24th in 2-pointers, field goals made against. So, I mean, they definitely have been struggling a little bit with the shooting guards. We're going to go and take a look here at Mr. Barton, and he has had 46 his last game. He did have a little dud with 29 undervalued in his game previous that, but he's had 3 out of his last 5 where he's crushed value. And against Philadelphia, he's actually done well. His last meeting against them back in December 30th, he put up a 38 spot, and that's not even in start. That was actually coming off the bench. And he had a 26 previous to that, and then a 40 spot back in 2016. So his last 3 outings against Philadelphia, he's actually have performed well, and now he's actually starting with no Gary Harris. He's getting more floor time. He's getting more shots, and when he's hot, you can forget about it. He can light it up. I think tonight is a perfect spot for him to do that. So I will say pencil in Mr. Barton as your second stud. My third stud is coming from the shooting guard position as well today. I like Mr. Brown, but I'm going to actually go a little lower to give you guys even some more value. 4.6, Luke Kennard. I like Luke Kennard today. Luke Kennard is facing the LA Lakers. LA is 22nd ranked in the entire league defending against point guards. They're 19th in fantasy points, 23rd in fantasy points per minute, and they're 17th defending the 3-pointer. Kennard has been getting a lot of time on the floor. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his last 9 games. He has crushed value. And against the Lakers, he has not played against the Lakers at all. He's going to get his first shot to play against them today. And I think he's going to do very well. He's actually getting time on the floor, 26, 32, 24, 27, 29 minutes. And as you can see, he could put 20. He's capable of putting a 35 spot. He's a good spot. 4,600. You need about 23, 24 from him. I think he's capable of doing that tonight, and he's actually been doing it as of late. So Luke Kennard, pencil him in, your third stud. Luke Kennard at shooting guard. But my next stud is coming from the small forward position, and I like Mr. Robert Covington today for Philadelphia against Denver. Mr. Covington against Denver. Denver is ranked 20th overall in the league. They're defending the small forwards, and Let me see. Let me get his stats here, guys. Yeah, Covington, man. Denver is 20th ranked overall. They're 28th in fantasy points, 21 in fantasy points per minute, 29th in rebounds, and 26th in two-point field goals being made. They really, really struggle against small forwards. So I see Mr. Covington, and then you can very easily say, well, you'll go with Chandler today against him, but Wilson is actually $100 more. But I think Covington is a better defender than Chandler, and he's actually, they both have been playing so-so as of late. Mr. Covington's last game, he put up a 37 spot against Minnesota. Other than that, that's about it. He was actually really been poor the last 4 games prior to that. But against Denver, he's actually done well. He's in all his games statistically here, he's been value or better in all six games that he has played in his career, dating back to 2014, 2015. He has had nothing but 32 points or better against Denver. In his last outing, he put up 36, and that was 35-minute game on December the 30th of this year, where he put up 10 rebounds. He had 10 rebounds and 15 points, and he was a little off with his 3-pointers. He took 6 3-pointers, only hit 1. But if he hits a couple of his threes, he'll be on. So Robert Covington today, pencil him in. I really like him today. I think he's going to be a hit. He's my 4th stud of the day. My 5th stud is coming from the power forward position. I do not have somebody at center today. That's a toss up there. I like Mr. Julius Randle against Detroit. Julius Randle, Detroit, same thing. Detroit, a little bit, they're pretty vulnerable in certain areas, especially in this spot here. He had a 29 spot. He had a 29 spot against Detroit in his last outing. Detroit is ranked 30th overall against power forwards. He has had 1, 2, 3. He's had 6 out of his last 7 games. He has met value. And against Detroit, he had that one meeting, which was the previous one. This was back in October, and he only played 17 minutes. He put 29 spot, folks. He put 17 points up with 7 rebounds and 3 assists and 1 steal. I mean, that's crazy in 17 minutes. So imagine now that he is a focal point of this offense for the Lakers. I mean, he's playing 25, 30 minutes plus. So I mean, it's I see this guy just totally going off today. I mean, he's averaging over 34 minutes the last 5-6 games. Looking right here, over 34 minutes. I think he's going to crush value today. I mean, if he doesn't, man, I'm going to be so disappointed. So disappointed. I think Julius Randle is the best play here today. And those are the 5 studs right there, guys. You got Ball, Barton, Kennard, Covington, and Randle. Some plays, there are some good plays here. Let's go back to, let's start off with the centers, because I didn't choose one. At center, to be honest with you, these are the guys that I am looking at in my player pool, at least in my opinion. Jokic is in play today. I like Jokic today. He is going up against Mr. Drummond. Is it? No, he's going up against Mr. Embiid. Jokic here, let's look at his stats for a moment here. Hasn't hit value in his last 2 games. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Philadelphia's 6th overall ranked against centers. I mean, so they are tough. And that's due to Mr. Embiid being a very physical center. Definitely plays some defense, likes to block shots. 1, 2, 3. He's had 4 out of his last 5. Jokic, to where he has met value or better. But he's been in the green, man. 3 games against Philadelphia. His last 3 previous games, his previous game, December 30th, he put up 53 nice points against Philadelphia. He had 19 points that game and 13 total rebounds with 6 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. I mean, you can go either or, but if I'm going to pay $10,300, I'd rather take Jokic. They pretty much average about the same, and right now they pretty much are projected to pretty much to be somewhere in the same area as far as points today. I mean, he's projected to have about 46, while Mr. Embiid maybe 48. I mean, I'll take the savings and I go with Jokic. I mean, who's capable of hitting threes and doing all those other things. I mean, you know what? For you guys to listen to me enough already, the ones who have been listening, I favor Jokic a lot. I like the guy. I think he's probably the best all-around center in the league. So at $9,500, I'll be willing to take a risk on Jokic today. Another guy out of the top three guys, I'm not on Towns. I'm not on Embiid today or Drummond. I will go. My first guy will probably be Jokic. My next guy will probably be Howard. Howard is going up against the Knicks. The Knicks are 20th ranked overall, 26th in fantasy points, 27th in fantasy points per minute allowed against centers. They're 18th in rebounds, and they're 25th in field goals, 2-point field goals to the center. And Howard puts a lot of balls right back in. I mean, he's going to battle because Cantor is a battler, so Cantor is a physical guy too. What I see out of this game, if you don't go with Howard, I could very easily go to value and take Willie Hernangomez. Hernangomez is going to get some time today, and especially if Howard struggles and Mr. Cantor gets on his nerves and he actually gets into foul trouble. Not only that, you got, Hernangomez willing to play against his former teammates. He would love to go and battle with Cantor under the boards and show him that, hey, you know what, he should have been the guy who should have stood in New York. But it's all a maybe. We don't know. That's the whole idea. We don't know if Howard will play the amount of minutes he would play. If this game is close, and I think it'll be close for a little bit. Charlotte hasn't been dominating a lot of people lately, and New York actually has been playing well the last couple of games. They've been at least competing. So I give New York a shot here to hold on and keep this game close. And if that's the case, Cantor's going to be in play. He's going to get some playing time, and Howard will be here longer. But at the same time, if Howard struggles, then I would say that the best value play here at 3,900 today for sure at center will be Mr. Willie Hernangomez. That I favor right away. I mean, he'll probably be in one or two of my lineups easily. Looking at the rest of this list, if you don't like Howard, Marc Gasol, it will be in play. Horford will be in play. Out of all the guys here in this like mid-tier level, I would say Brook Lopez or Cantor, just simply because Lopez is going against Detroit, and Mr. Drummond is not the best defender in the world. We know that he is definitely a poor defender. And Brook Lopez is the kind of center that will hit threes, rebound, put back shots. He'll block shots as well. He runs the floor very well. And he has been playing really, really well as of late. Even though Detroit is 9th overall, his last few games against Detroit, he did have a 27 and 20 spot. Mr. Lopez. Prior to that, he had a 37 and a 50. This was all dating back to up to 2016. So he has actually played fairly well against Detroit. It's just right here statistically, I can't tell you if he has faced Mr. Drummond as of a year and a half back. But I think that Lopez here is in a good position. 6,400. I like Lopez here. I do like Cantor as well. And I would say Monroe will be another good vote. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry about that. And I think the value play here is definitely Willie Hernangomez. So, I mean, that's basically it. That's all I see here, to be honest with you. Or at least that I would like. Going back now, we'll go back the other way to point guard. Point guard, Kimba is in play. He's not one of my favorites today. He has definitely struggled against the Knicks. He hasn't performed well with the Knicks, at least from what I looked at last night. What do we have here? Walker, his last 3 outings straight against the Knicks, under 25 fantasy points. So he definitely has struggled, and he actually, 3 out of his last 4 games that he has hit value, he has had 250-plus games. But he has definitely struggled against New York. You never know with Kimba. I like him. I think if you're willing to pay $8,600 for him, you can play him. He's playing at home. He definitely plays better at home. There's no doubt about that. But New York, for whatever reason, has had his number the last 3 times they faced him. So with that, I'm a little concerned. I think that Lonzo Ball is in a better position against Detroit. Going down a little further, Murray again against Philadelphia. I think Murray is in play as well. Philadelphia's 10th in the league. He hasn't hit value in 6 out of his last 7 games. He has hit value in 6 of his last 7 games. But and then back in December against Philadelphia, he did put up a 40 spot. He actually put 51. No, sorry. Let me just check that out again, guys, here real quickly while I'm recording here. Yeah. Mr. Murray against Philly back. 51. He did have 51. He put up 31 points. He had 8 total rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, a steal. He just went off that day. Let's see. Here's some threes. He was off on the threes. He took six threes. He only hit one, but he took 23 shots that day and he hit 11. So he was definitely a little bit under 45% shooting, but nonetheless put up 51 big ones. I can't tell you right now who defended him. I didn't look that up, but I think he's in play. Murray's definitely in play today at 7,500. I'm not on Jeff Teague today. I do think Rozier is in a good spot. Rozier is 7,100, and he has been playing obviously a lot of minutes because of Kyrie. 24, looking at Phoenix, they're 26 in the league, so I really think just that alone, defending the point guard position, Rozier is in a good spot. 24th in fantasy points, looking here, 28 in fantasy points per minute. They rank 21st in defending the rebound, and 29th in which is pretty much almost dead last, 29th in the league at point guard in defending the 2-point shot. So they definitely have their troubles. If I wasn't on ball, definitely I would have Mr. Rozier on some of my lineups. I think he's definitely in play, guys. So I would consider Mr. Rozier. In the lower tier here, Andrew Harrison, okay, not a bad spot for him as well. Harrison is playing Minnesota. Minnesota is 26th ranked in the league as far as defending the rebound. At 5'8", just simply because he's getting more minutes now, Mr. Harrison, I would consider him because the last time he's played Minnesota, he put up a 39 spot in his last game against LA a couple of days ago. But the last time he played Minnesota, was back in December 4th, and he only played 18 minutes. He was a bench player coming in, so he wasn't the starter. At least from what I see here, as far as 18 minutes, I doubt very much he was starting that game. So he was probably coming off the bench. He was also valued at 4,100. He put a 15 spot in 18 minutes, but now he's getting more than that. We know that he's playing more minutes now because he is the main point guard. You see, he's put 36 minutes up in his first game back, put up 39. So I think he's definitely in play at that price. I would consider him 5,800 against Minnesota. Alfred Payton, he has 2 strikes. I have 2 strikes against him already. As far as choosing him, I'm not on him today, but he's also in play. 5,600. He did play 33 minutes in his last game. He put up 43 big fantasy points. He was averaging before that 22, 27 minutes. It's hard to predict, but I think he's in play, guys. I think he's in play. Let's look a little further here. Boston is, he's only had that 143-point game, fantasy point game, on his last outing, but before that, he went 9 straight games where he didn't even meet value. He was really poorly undervalued. But let's look against Boston. His last game against Boston, he played 34 minutes. He put up 34 fantasy points. So he had 22 points. He had 2 assists, 6 rebounds. He did have a steal. He had a pretty good game in 34 minutes, and actually was a win, surprisingly. They won 103-95, and that was back on January of this year. So you never know. Just seeing that, I would think he's in play. 5,600, I would consider him. I'm just letting you know that he is in play today. Ish Smith is another one in play. I like Ish Smith here, and he's one that I am considering in playing today. Ish Smith, the Lakers are 23rd in the league defending against the point, 27th in fantasy points, which is near the bottom, 30th, which is actually dead last in fantasy points per minute, and they are 26th in the 2-point conversion. So field goal. So Ish Smith, very good spot today at 5,200. So I would say, guys, you want a value play, you consider Mr. Smith. You could also consider Mr. Trey Burke as well of the Knicks. Trey Burke has played very well for the Knicks, and he's now getting more of the starting role here. Let me pull him up real quickly. Trey Burke. Yep, Charlotte is 9th overall, but Trey has had 32, 33, 24. He did a 17 dud, 25, 24 over his last 6 games. Against Charlotte, he played them 9 days ago on the 17th, and he put up 25 fantasy points in 19 minutes. He wasn't starting them. He put 19 minutes. He was coming off the bench. He's going to see about 25. He's going to probably see 25, 30 minutes today. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. He played 27 and 31 his last 2 games and 25 before that. So between 25 and 30, I can see him playing today. and he'll probably put up a 30 spot for you at that price. I mean, you know, he's worth taking a shot, and you know, he has a little bit of upside. You know, he's capable. You know, Trey Burke, he's capable of putting, you know, 40, 45 easy. You know, he can go off in that way. So I would definitely consider Trey Burke. Sorry about the phone, guys. Trey Burke. All right. Next, I have shooting guards: Wiggins, Hardaway. Probably just Jaylen Brown. I like Luke Kennard, as you know. I think Jaylen Brown is in play against Phoenix. You know, let's see here, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, yeah, man, Phoenix is just horrible against shooting guards. 30th all in fantasy points per minute, and in rebounds. They are dead last. I think he's, you know, just simply on their ranking, I think that you got to give him a chance. You know, 6,000, you need what, 30? You know, it's, you know, you can get it. I think you can get it. I mean, he put up like 29 last night, I believe. Yeah, he put up 24 fantasy points in 25 minutes, almost a fantasy point per minute. So, I mean, yeah, if he gets 30 minutes today, he got a shot against Phoenix. But the only thing is that this could, you know, it can end up being a lopsided game, a blowout, and then all of a sudden Mr. Brown is not playing anymore. So, you know, it's a chance you can take. But if he can light it up for 3 quarters and give you that 30-35, you can get it. I think you can get it from Mr. Brown. I like Kennard. Out of the bottom half here, the only guy I really like is Mr. Jamal Crawford. He hasn't hit value in 2 straight games, but he has hit 22 and 28 respectively against the Grizzlies in previous 3 outings. So at 4,200 and no Jimmy Butler, you know, he's going to get some time. There's no doubt. He gets about 20 to 25 minutes now. Yep. He goes 21, 25, 32, 27. So, I mean, you know, he can be sporadic as far as his points, but as long as he gets his minutes, if he can get 20 to 25 minutes, and especially this game, there's a possibility. I mean, they're playing Memphis. If they start blowing Memphis out, they're not, you know, you could see where Mr. Wiggins is going to sit more, and he's going to actually play. So, I mean, I would give him a little, I'll give him a look as well, I would think. You know, I think that would be a good play. Small forward, let's move on. Josh Jackson, definitely in play. Jeremy Lamb, definitely in play. Tatum, definitely in play. I love Covington here. You could definitely consider Beasley and Mr. Bullock. Other than that, Dwayne Bacon, probably a nice play here at 3,600. He's been getting some light. He's definitely been playing a little bit. Let's see here real quickly. I know I was looking at him last night. Mr. Bacon, where are you? Yeah, Bacon. Yeah, he's hit value in 2 straight games, and he actually had a 26 spot versus New York on the 17th, and he only played 18 minutes. So, you know, there is a chance that he may get that kind of time again, especially if they're starting to blow the Knicks away or if Mr. Jeremy Lamb is not performing well. So, I mean, you can look at Mr. Bacon getting some more time there. So at 3,600, I think he's someone to consider as a value play. Power forward, as you know, I like Randall. I definitely like Kuzma here. You could actually even pair these 2 at power forward. You should be okay. Blake Griffin more so than Simmons, and then Saric more than Simmons out of the 2 Philly guys. Saric has actually done well against Denver here. Hasn't hit value in 5 straight games, but he did have a 40 spot and a 32 spot against Denver the last 2 times he saw him. So he's actually played very well. So I would definitely consider Mr. Dario here as well at 5'9", not bad. I'm not on Gibson. I'm not on Martin. Kaminsky could be a good play here. Kaminsky as well. 25. They're facing New York. They're 20th ranked at 4.7. You know, okay, that's not a bad price for him. He actually put up 38 fantasy points the last time he played in the Knicks back in December, and he did that in 27 minutes coming off the bench. And he had 20. The Knicks are ranked 25th in fantasy points defending against the power forward, 25th in fantasy points per minute, and 28th, almost dead last, in 3-pointers against. So I would consider him as well. You know, Kaminsky is in play for me today as well. And that'll be it there. And then at center, I think we went over those already. I say Brook Lopez, Inez Cantor, Greg Monroe's in a good spot. I would consider Monroe. You know, guys, Monroe, you know, facing Phoenix. Phoenix is 25th in fantasy points, 25th in fantasy points per minute, and then 19th in rebounds. And then he actually had a 35 spot versus Phoenix the last time he met him, which was right after they had traded him. So he may get that time again. That's very much possible. He's actually a better play than Mr. Lin, and I think he's even a better play than Mr. Harford, who's 6,800. So we'll see what happens there. But like I said, I mean, there are a couple of good plays. I mean, Howard is the best one here, and Jokic, at least in my opinion. And Gasol, because he's a good defender, is in play, but he's probably going to be pretty much at close to his regular average. He's more of a cash play, at least for me. I don't consider him a GPP play. GPPs for me would be probably Monroe, Cantor, who can go off and do 50 at any given day. Lopez is one of those guys too, and Howard and Jokic, who's capable of putting up 60 or 70. These guys as well, but as far as price, I'm looking at it, I'd rather save the money here and go with Jokic or Howard, and I think I'm going to get the same value or better, and I'll be able to put that money somewhere else. So pretty much, guys, that is it. There goes your stuff 5. You got Ball, you got Barton, Mr. Kennard, Covington, Randall. I wish everybody luck. I plan to use these guys in a couple of my lineups. There are some others that I am planning to put in play. I hope everybody just smashes it tonight. I hope we all make some money, and everybody have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.